Any questions? Well, I'll be around. So, and I encourage you, and I'll be around for the break. And right now I plan, unless some client tells me I need to do something else, I plan to be here the rest of the program, and I'll be interested in talking with anyone that would be interested in speaking about. Yes, I'm sorry.
What is it about the House? What is it about the House that wants I'd just like to know, in your opinion, what is it about the House that has the pushback, unlike the Senate? The Senate wants to push the RPS, and the House does not. Could you give us a little background on that, or your opinion?
Well, part of it is speculation. First of all, for any bill to get passed, you need a champion. Whether it's a state legislature or a Congress, you have to have a champion. Somebody has to get out there and say, guys, we got to get this done. There's no champion, okay? There's no champion in the House. So you start off, and the champion needs to be able to, either needs to be leadership, the leader, or needs to have the ear of the leader, or it just doesn't work, and there's no champion. Second, I think last year, my impression last year was a lot of folks in the House just didn't understand it. There was a lot of noise. The folks from FAIR were organized folks from FAIR were trying to do feed-in tariffs, and the utilities hate it. So a lot of the space in trying to do renewable energy, especially solar, was taken up by these guys that wanted to do a feed-in tariff, and it just sort of took away from it. It helped to poison the well, I'm told. Also, I don't think the utilities were organized. They talked about organizing it, and they talked about supporting something, but they never really did. Okay, they never really did that. And this year, they really want to do some renewables. The devil is in the details, frankly. The devil is in the details, because here's the problem. If you get, no matter what an RPS says, when they do renewables, even though it says you can do cost recovery, even though the PSC would allow them to do cost recovery, the PSC still has final say on what their rates are, basically what their rate of return is. And they're afraid that they're going to get nipped on their rate of return. There are a lot of interest here, and the utilities have a lot of sway with the, with members of the House. I know I've answered that in a very general way, and maybe some of you have better answers than I do to that. Bottom line, the Senate had some champions, and I think, and the House did not. And the House hopefully will do better this year. I can tell you that Steve Precourt, who chairs the Energy Committee, is very much in favor of doing something. He won't commit to how much, but he understands. He understands what I've explained about an RPS. He understands why we need to do one in Florida. But it's ranking people that will make that decision. He will not make that decision. Okay, don't quote me to Steve on that, please. But that's the way it works. That's the way it works in our legislature. If you don't play ball with those that appoint you, you don't stay in that position very long. Yes, Melissa.
Of all the bills on this handout, which one do you think stands a chance of gaining the most support both in the Senate and the House?
Well, the same one the Senate passed is the one that Dietert passed, the same one that King introduced and his committee passed last year. I think that's got the best chance in the Senate. I think there's a good chance that the House may start with that, okay? I don't know where they'll end up. But, basically, and affordability is the big issue. Affordability is a big issue. But nobody in the, this is a terrible time to be an incumbent in a Florida legislature right now. None of them want to add one penny to any taxpayer's burden or one penny, to any consumer's burden. They don't want to do it. They're afraid to do it. And so affordability is the issue. But that's why I think the rate cap handles that. That's why you have a rate cap. You're not going to get the 20, if you're just talking about pure renewables, even that clean portfolio standard, 2020, you're probably not going to get there with a 2% rate cap, okay? But that covers the affordability. Yes, sir.
Hi, Tommy. My name is Blaine Strickland. Thank you for your comments this morning. I wonder if you could reflect on maybe the parallel path of maybe I would call it the carrot instead of the stick, in the sense that there's also a move to create credits for individual homeowners to enhance their own energy consumption through solar energy panels on their house and other things that they can do personally. So
Yeah.
this feels like it has to work in concert with maybe a voluntary, capitalistic type supply.
I was going to get into that, but I knew I had my time. I had constrained amount of time. But basically, it is a carrot and stick approach. Okay, the stick is the RPS, the carrot is the incentives. There are any number of incentives, and we got net metering. You can sell it back on the grid. We've got some renewables. I mean, we've got some tax credits that the state coffers ran out of, but they've been replenished by this federal stimulus money that's coming in. So there are any number of ways that you can stimulate by doing incentives. But in a lean year like this, the legislature is not likely to do anything that's going to take away, it's going to cost them money. That's what they've told. So Steve Precourt says, Tommy, tell me all you want to about incentives, but don't tell me anything that costs me any money. Okay, and I think that's where they are. The Fed's in a different place. However, what you've got to do, you can't just do a 1 or 2 or 3 year incentive. That's not a big enough incentive for somebody to go ahead, and make a bigger investment. You need to have a longer range incentive. You need to have something that lasts 15 years at least, 20 years better, so you can put in a whole whatever, okay, and you can finance it out. That's whether you're a homeowner, or a business owner, or a plant owner. Kirsty's running me off, folks, but I'll be around, okay?